Hey, today we are looking at some tools that I have made to automate my rigging process and make everything move a little bit faster. These were all scripted in Python. And let's start with the joint creation suite. Our good friend here, the Gecko, is going to help us out. Let's go ahead and drop into wireframe mode. And what this tool does is a few different things. We're on the first tab, which is the Create tab. So let's go ahead and go into edge loop mode, and we can place a couple of locators that are going to be our joints. This tool here functions much like a cluster deformer, or at least placing a cluster deformer, where what it'll do is it'll take the average of a selection. So if I go ahead and I grab, let's grab this one. If I go ahead and I grab that right there, it's going to take the average and put that locator right in the middle of all of those, which gives us a really nice placement for joints. Now what we've gone ahead and done is place some, let's say these are going to be spine joints right here. Now all I have to do is select all of these, and let's go ahead and select them in the order that the joints are going to be linked in, and we'll call this spine FK. Connect as joint chain, and there we go. We have that chain done. So this is going to be a really easy way to quickly visualize, place all of your joints, and name them with a very specific naming convention. As you can see over in the hierarchy, we've got spine FK01, spine FK02, spine FK03. That naming convention is going to be important for any future scripts that we're going to be looking at. So let's jump over to tab 2, the Orient tab. This is going to make it really easy to orient all of our joints for us. I've got handy buttons that are going to do things like spine, leg, arm, fingers, and the center of gravity, which is going to be oriented to the world. So since this is our spine, I'll go ahead and click spine, and that will orient in the exact way that we want it to. Now, for a better example, let's go ahead and bring back our Gecko friend here, and let's also bring up some joints that I had previously placed. So for a quick show of what this is going to do, and ideally you'll probably want to unparent things that you don't want oriented the way that we're going to be doing it, but let's go ahead and click spine. You'll see that there was a shift in there, and that's because these joints have not yet been oriented. But you can see, and let's go ahead and do the arm real fast, that once again we saw that little hop there, but now we are getting a good rotation on the Z-axis, and we have all of these values zeroed out where they should be zeroed out, including for the wrist as well, and that's going to get us a really good skeleton that is ready to rig and put constraints on. For the fingers, let's go ahead and do a couple of those real quick. One thing that you'll notice is, and there it goes, popping into position, we are currently rotating on the negative Z-axis. I can go ahead and flip that on the X, and now I'm rotating on the positive, just the exact way that I want to. So we've got all of these handy buttons here. That's going to make it nice and easy. Zero end joint orientations. That's going to zero out the end joints of any joint chain that you have. And I also have the option to very easily set up custom orientation on your own in case any of these automatic buttons are not quite what you're looking for. It is a bit of a different sort of a setup than the joint orient tool that is within Maya, but it's easy for me, and these automated buttons are going to be a lot faster than doing everything manually. So let's move on to the next tool. That is going to be, there it is. All right, so this is my advanced FK rig builder tool. It's kind of long, but it does a lot of stuff. So the easiest way to use this tool is to first check your control size. You know what, let's make them a little bit bigger. Check the control colors. Let's say I want them to be blue. We're gonna make both sides, and green button builds the whole rig. We've got the full thing here. All of these are going to be fully functional, moving the skeleton, moving everything else. It looks like I made the controls a little bit too big, but it's really easy to rebuild the entire thing. I could just go ahead. Let's put this back to 2. I think that's a good size. And bingo, we've got the full thing built once again, and rotating correctly. The other cool thing is that this is built based on a broken FK system with custom follow, translate, and follow rotate attributes. What that means is that since this is not a parented hierarchy, everything is just here. Everything is constrained with constraints. And that means that if I select a joint here, it's not going to select all the joints down that chain as well. Makes it for a little bit cleaner of a look, confuses animators a little bit less, and I personally really like it. Now I've also got the steps for this broken down into separate buttons, which allows you to have more control over building that rig. Say you wanted to mess with the control vertices on any of these controls, make them look different, and then mirror them over. You can absolutely do that by mirroring left to right or right to left, and then constraining one step at a time, making sure that everything functions with that. I've also got an aim constraint set to the eyes. So if we bring it in nice and close here, you can see that the eyes are going to be moving with an aim constraint. Oh, and look at that. For some reason, they are still skinned to the eyes. That's handy. Better for visuals. Now, last cool thing on this is going to be this button here, Organize Controls into Hierarchy. What that is going to do is you see that since I do not have a parent-child relationship based rig, and it is all based on constraints, it leaves the hierarchy pretty messy. That takes a minute to organize. But check this out. Bonk, right there, it's done. Now I have controls organized into upper body controls, which is organized into left arm, right arm, head, and spine. Lower body controls, which is organized into legs, pelvis, tail, and then main controls, which is my cog control. If I had a transform or world control, that would also be placed in the main controls as well. Now let's go ahead and look at one final tool. This one I'm not turning in because it is not quite finished. There it is. This is my IK limb creation tool. So now that we have a really awesome, fully functional broken FK rig, broken because it's not the usual parent-child relationship. That's the name that I learned it by. I'm not sure if there's a better name for it, but I kind of like the name, so I'm going to stick to it. But since we have a fully functional broken FK rig, now we need an IK joint for each of these here. So let's take a look at how we can do that. Select joint, set the root joint, create the IK chain, create the controls, set up the IK constraint, and that's it. Simple as that. I have a fully functional IK limb right here. I can do the same for each leg and for the other arm. And also I've got it set up to create driven keys for each of those to tell the IK controls which joint or which part of the rig to follow. It can follow the transform control, cog control, geometry group, or the clav control right here. Also, additionally, I have it set up so that the pole vector control will follow the IK handle as well. Sometimes that makes it a little bit more handy to keep track of that pole vector control. The reason I'm not turning this one in is because it's not quite done yet. I'm still working out a few bugs on the RK tie-in as well as the twist system that I want to implement with this. Once that is done, I'm going to be using this tool a whole lot, but in the meantime, I thought I'd show it off real quick because it's kind of an entire little rigging suite. Anyway, if you're not using code to build your rigs, you definitely should. Thanks for watching.